The story opens on the far edges of a vast galaxy ruled by the Motherworld, a militaristic empire that has replaced old kings and councils with endless conquest. Worlds are stripped of resources, cultures erased, and resistance crushed before it can grow. Stories of rebellion still circulate in whispers, but most planets submit because survival feels easier than hope. On one quiet agricultural moon called Velt, life moves at a slow and honest rhythm. Farmers rise with the sun, tend fields of grain, and gather at night around shared meals. The people of Velt have no armies and no interest in galactic politics. They believe that if they stay small and invisible, the Motherworld will ignore them. That belief shatters when an Imperial warship descends from the sky like a dark omen. The ship is commanded by Admiral Atticus Noble, a ruthless enforcer of the Motherworld. Noble is not interested in negotiation. He arrives with soldiers known as the Imperium, armored and disciplined, carrying weapons far more advanced than anything Velt has ever seen. Noble announces that the moon will provide grain to support the Empire's war machine. The farmers are given an impossible quota and a simple choice. Comply, or be destroyed. Among the villagers is a quiet woman named Kora. She works the fields like everyone else, keeps her head down, and avoids attention. But when Noble executes a farmer to make an example, something shifts inside her. Kora understands the Imperium better than she lets on. She recognizes their tactics, their cruelty, and their certainty that fear is enough to control any population. The village elders argue that resistance is suicide. They believe that if they give up their harvest, they can survive another season. Kora knows this is a lie. The Motherworld never stops with one demand. It always comes back for more. That night, she speaks privately with Gunnar, a kind-hearted farmer who trusts her instincts. She reveals part of her past. She once belonged to. The ship touches down far from the village, hidden among tall grass and uneven hills. Kora does not want to announce their arrival. She wants to see what has changed, to feel the mood of Velt before making a move. As they travel on foot toward the settlement, they see Imperial banners planted like scars across the land. Patrols move through the fields where farmers once worked freely. Grain silos are guarded by soldiers instead of families. When they reach the outskirts, Gunnar is the first to notice them. His relief is visible even before he speaks. He had begun to fear that Kora would never return. Quietly, he leads them to a hidden storehouse where the villagers gather in secret. The reunion is tense. Hope exists, but it is fragile. Many villagers are afraid that bringing warriors back will only invite faster destruction. Kora speaks plainly. She does not promise victory. She does not exaggerate their strength. She tells them the truth. The Motherworld will take their harvest, then their children, then their lives. Submission only delays the inevitable. Fighting is dangerous, but it is the only path that offers even a chance of freedom. Some villagers argue back. They say they are farmers, not soldiers. Kora answers that rebellion does not belong only to soldiers. It belongs to anyone who refuses to kneel forever. Titus steps forward then, his presence commanding attention despite his worn appearance. He explains Imperial strategy, how the Motherworld controls worlds through fear and isolation. Velt, he says, is already marked for exploitation. The Empire does not forget profitable places. Slowly, the mood shifts. Fear remains, but it is joined by anger. Noble's executions, the stolen grain, the constant humiliation have built pressure beneath the surface. The villagers agree to help, not by charging into battle, but by using what they know best. The land. Plans are made quietly. Turok studies the terrain, noting open skies and narrow valleys. Nemesis trains A. The days after the battle pass in a heavy silence. Smoke still rises from burned fields, and damaged Imperial machines lie scattered like dead beasts across the land. The villagers work together to bury the fallen and tend to the wounded. Victory does not feel triumphant. It feels expensive. Every life lost weighs on Kora, even those who chose to fight knowing the risk. The Imperium does not return immediately. Without Noble's command, the remaining forces withdraw to regroup. This pause gives Velt something it has not known in a long time. Time to breathe. Time to think. For the first time, the villagers begin to talk openly about what comes next instead of merely surviving the present. Kora knows the truth. The Motherworld will not forgive what happened. Admiral Noble's death is an insult that will demand an answer. Velt is no longer invisible. It has become a symbol. She shares this openly with the others. Some villagers are frightened by the idea, but others see it as a strange kind of power. Symbols travel faster than ships. Messages begin to arrive from beyond Velt. Small, encrypted signals picked up by Titus using damaged Imperial equipment. Other worlds have heard rumors. A warship destroyed. An admiral killed by farmers and outcasts. At first, the messages are cautious. Questions rather than commitments. People want to know if the story is true. Kora does not exaggerate. She sends back a simple message. The Motherworld can be resisted. The cost is high, but submission costs more. That message spreads. Meanwhile, tensions grow within the group itself. Not everyone agrees on what rebellion should look like. Titus believes they must become organized quickly, building a proper resistance with ranks, supply lines, and hard decisions. He fears chaos will destroy them before the Imperium does. Nemesis disagrees. She has seen what happens when causes turn into armies. Lines blur, and innocents are forgotten. Turok watches these debates quietly. He understands Bo. The refugees scatter across the stars, carried by damaged ships and fragile hope. They land on forgotten moons, abandoned stations, and worlds that sit just beyond Imperial attention. Life is harsh, but it is free. Each group carries the story of Velt with them, and those stories spread faster than the Imperium expects. Kora does not stay in one place. She moves constantly, meeting cells of survivors and quiet rebels. She listens more than she speaks. She has learned that rebellion cannot be commanded the way armies are. It has to be believed in. On every world, people ask her the same question. What now? Her answer is always honest. There is no final plan. No guaranteed victory. Only choices made day by day. She tells them the Motherworld depends on fear and isolation. Break either one, and the system weakens. Break both, and it falls. The Imperium responds with increasing brutality. Entire settlements are erased on suspicion alone. Public executions are broadcast as warnings. But instead of silencing resistance, the violence exposes the Empire's fragility. The more force it uses, the more worlds realize that obedience has never truly protected them. Titus works in the background, doing what he knows best. He organizes communication routes between rebel cells, using old Imperial protocols and constantly changing codes. He avoids titles and ranks, remembering how quickly structure can turn into tyranny. Still, people naturally look to him for guidance. He accepts the role carefully, always reminding others that leadership must be questioned. Nemesis becomes a symbol in her own way. Stories spread of a silver-armed warrior who appears when the Imperium crosses certain lines. She strikes quickly and disappears, leaving behind ruined weapons and shaken officers. To some, she is a myth. To the Imperium, she is a reminder that cruelty creates its own enemies. Turok returns to worlds like the one he lost, helping people reconnect with their land instead of surrendering.